Alright, today we're going to learn how to make an origami vulva. We're going to start with the sort of usual pre-folding things. Now we're just going to fold corner right into the middle. And the opposite corner too. Right there. Get them right, it'll matter. And then we're going to do the same thing but on the other side. You guessed it. Alright. Now the inside, which we want to be pink, we're going to take these corners and just fold them back. And then I'm going to take this side, fold it to the middle. But don't fold that thing that comes out. Leave that hanging. Right there. And then we'll do it again. You know, the thing we're making is symmetrical enough. Alright, there we go. Now, I'm going to fold these up. Both of them. And just coax those tips to a point. And then we got this here. Just gonna do that again on the other side. Alright, now let's open these up. Keep it simple. We want to fold them both in at the same time, but leaving this flap up, like so. Then we're just gonna fold that flap inside. See that? Sure it folds on that line there. So you'll notice we have a wasted fold right there from the initial stuff. Don't follow that fold. Don't let it crease up here and make that inside thing look weird. Like that. That ain't right. You want it, the inside to come to a point right in there. See him? Yeah, now do it again. if you want to skip a step, when you bring it to this part, you can just start with it in there. Just make sure you get it all the way out. Yeah, see that? I fucked it up. Gotta really make sure. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said fuck. I guess, I don't know if anyone who can't say fuck should be folding an origami vulva, but rules are rules. Alright. So now we've got a top and bottom. And we're going to do something to all of these. We're just going to crease them right down there. So flip it over, pull it out, and you'll follow that line right there. And then you'll keep following it so that it goes past. Yeah, like that. And now fold it the other way too, because they're both going different ways later. So now do it to the other side. And so you'll notice we've crossed up there. Make sure to do both ways. This one, the other way is a pain in the ass. You gotta get around all that damn paper. Just make sure you try to match the original crease you made, which is in the ideal position. And you'll be fine. Now do it again and again. And now we've got a lot of pre-creasing. And now we're going to open it up. And, this side's going to use the crease and go this way. And this side's going to use the crease and go that way. So we're just going to pinch it there and do an inside reverse fold. That's what that's called. And check this diamond thing out that we made. You're going to do one side. You're going to follow it all the way across. Just bring that on the crease it likes. And bring that back over. So we're overlapping in here like that. And okay, yeah. Went all the way down. It was a lot of fun, and we're sure to do it again. Now we're gonna accordion fold this, so we're just gonna fold it the same way we just did, but back, and then one more time after that. That's just to give it volume and depth. So you take it and yank it all the way through. Another inside reverse fold. Make sure you get this crease in the right place. Oh god, my fingernail's dirty. That's life. And yeah. So you want it nice and even across there. So you got a straight line. And whatever sticks out, which should be exactly this much. Oh look, I tore mine a little. It happens. And now we do it again the other way. So pull the flap open, grab it, and just yank it on through. And then you're just making it up as you go. So you're bringing that thing through. You want it to be flush there. So I would just poke this a little, which is going to push that crease out. See it? Yep. And that'll go flush there. You should have exactly the amount of room you want. And you just flatten both of these in the same sort of coaxing way. Fingernails help. But this is probably the most annoying part. Besides the clitoris, of course. Hee hee. Alright, so we did that once. Now we're going to do it again. And I could do it this side first, but I'm going to do the annoying side first. because we made that cross here, and so we're going to run into each other, and I'll show you how to deal with that. So inside reverse fold it, get it all going, and then pop this open and break that apart and go to the middle crease. And then what I like to do is get this part down, bring it all the way to the point, really crease it up sharp so that you intentionally create a 3D situation. See, because we're doing that on both sides. Put that in place, but then this is still popped out, and it's already doing what I'm sort of going to do to it anyways, but I like to give that a little definition because it'll help out later when we want to make it a little more 3D. So this I just want to crease it across, so just so it goes down in a way that looks good when it's half open or all the way open. And we get to do this again. We get to do everything 4 times. We get to do this again. Get right to the edge there. Nice on the floor. There we go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's a little off. You know how much that'll matter later? Not very. I like to do kind of this, and that gets that point really nice. And then this one can just fall into place. You're going to be hiding the points anyways, so, but I like, you know, it works out better. And now we get to do all of that another couple of times. Open it up, and we do this, and it's a little more annoying because you have now all of this paper stacked up here that you have to go across, so you really want to make sure you adhere to the ideal creases instead of just mashing it over the paper and making a wide tip down there. Just, you know, perfect inside, perfect outside. That's how I talk about origami myself. See that? It's a common pitfall, but it really doesn't matter. I just feel like I should you know, display perfect accuracy since I'm making a video. That's the challenge. When you're making a lot of them, you'll find you'll get good enough at it that you can see the ways that can either work out or not work out, depending on how you play your cards. And this one we went that direction, so this one we're going that direction as well. See, and then given enough definition, it collapses nicely if you do it right. Yeah. And we have this thing, and it's, oh, see, I did this side all wrong. Look at how far I was off. See, you'll see later that it won't really matter. And it is just kind of, well, you know, we're using a medium that is famous for being squares, because you do make everything out of a goddamn square. And so organic pieces that can display individual whimsy are hard to render. And this is especially, I mean, I love it. I'm not going to talk it down. I made it up. But I recognize 15 years later a little bit of a ham-fistedness to its, you know, I was younger. I didn't know things. But I don't think I do it any different now, just because I haven't gotten that much smarter. So now we are going to do some pre-folding and put it back. We have an up and a down, and pointing up, you can sneak into these. These will open like that. And that's, in fact, what we're going to deal with. What we're going to do is make a crease that starts not at the edge here, just a little ways in. And you can take a little artistic license when you see what it does. So we'll crease it there, and it's going to open it up. And as we open it up, that inside flap, we want the destination of this crease to be higher than that inside flap, which terminates here. So we want it to go at least here, but we don't want to go all the way to the end, because we are just doing the upper part. So I get about halfway there, and then as you crease it down, you'll see on this side I'm in about a little. As you crease it down, this is going to lift up and become three-dimensional. Just let it fly, and get this crease nice and straight, regardless of how it lands against there. So you've got that funny shape going. And now, the less you have here, the more open these are going to be. And I like them a little. Oh yeah, just yeah. I like a lot of material there. So I just boosted it up. I'm bringing it to the side there. So where these intersect, that's going to be the start of a new crease that we're going to direct down to the point. And so I'm going to grab it there and start folding it over like that. And I'm going to find a place where this will lie flat here and still come to a point here. And to find that straight line, I hold it down and I'll just pull this straight until it makes the point kind of come out. And then that sets your angle. And then as you get to the end, you can fingernail in there, or you can coax it down. You can remember that it doesn't matter, because we are going to be hiding those points. But I got a pretty good turnout. I mean, went to the right place for sure. So that's what's going on. And we're going to do it again. And now we're going to try to match it. So I like to sort of set a finger there and observe that distance and eyeball it here. That distance is what I mean. Eyeball it here and aim for there. Because you know, nothing symmetrical, but the ham-fistedness of the design that I mentioned earlier does lend it toward preferring symmetricality, unless you get really creative with it. And so I try to really match those points. And God, it doesn't look like I did. In real life, I pretty much did. Now you can just tell because it's small. That's okay though. They're going to be far enough apart in the end. So I'm pulling on this again, finding that end, and creasing it down. And there we go. That's going to be the face of our vulva, our labia there. And of course, you know, two things are missing, depth and the clitoris. So we're going to actually, in order to not damage the labia, we'll save opening them back up for later. So I'm just going to fold them right back carefully. And this is a popular place to tear it as you pull down if you're not careful, which is why I put them away, because they, you know, they can get in the way in the right circumstances, usually in the best ways. So I'm just gonna open this all the way up. It's gonna be a little more super annoying to put back together, but it'll help with making sense of this. So the bottom's gonna stay as it is, and we're gonna put it back together later. The top, we're gonna take this, one of those flaps we folded right at the very beginning, and this is kind of why you want to get a good point here, because this flap, getting a good point, will help with this clitoral project we're embarking on. So just fold it all the way down. And the reason we folded it up in the first place, only to fold it back down now, is to get these pre-creases in there. And what we're going to do is just reverse those creases by popping this up, pulling it up, and reversing it. It's a secondarily made crease, meaning you were running your finger across paper on the outside of it. So it's a softer crease and it's harder to find the reverse of. So be careful and take your time. Oh, I skipped a step. Shit. No, that's cool. Because actually, it does help if you pre-reverse crease these. Even though if you're following a crease in reverse, it's usually pretty easy on a fine point like this, and especially when you might want to make adjustments to get this point nice and tidy. You just want to like set it yourself. And the way these pre-crease is as you try to fold them over into the middle, they're going to want to pull the figure back together. And we're going to depend on that later, so don't fight it or don't like force it down here. Just fold it as if it were folding all together. And now that we've pre-creased it, this, if you've got tweezers or big enough paper, you could sort of double zigzag fold this in a way that modifies what we're about to do to give it a clitoral hood and a clitoris. But in this model, we just keep it simple, and we're just going to make a clitoral hood, and you can assume the clitoris is voiding the paparazzi. There we go. We're going to fold it right back to the center, and then we're going to get into those things we just pre-recreased. And it'll make a cute little bow for the top. Because that was as good as I could get at handling the color change on the secondary 3D piece. So now's a good time to go back and look at all these other intermediary folds that make the model and sort of just know that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing as they close. That everything's just going back in its right place and not crinkling some bullshit. And then you turn your attention to how the clitoris is hanging. And I'd say I got a decent turnout. I'd like to have gotten those a little deeper in, but it's kind of hard to work them in. So you could close this all the way up and it would be flat. And that's kind of nice to pinch, give it stronger definition. So now we just need to pull it up. We're going to get under it and pull it up, and as it pulls up, it's going to fold in half. Watch here. So you go straight up, and then we're going to actually mash the model down around it, folding it in half, up like that. Sometimes I like to get in there and grab it and just pinch it. I've got some folds fighting each other in there. There we go. So that we get it right. So it's coming out just a little. And then, once we flatten it down, I like to get in and pull it up a little more. Just irrationally up to the proportion you desire. Right. Sometimes you have to crush a little paper to do this, but that's life. And you just have a cute little thing. So you could fold enough paper back in there that you could come back over and make another hood out of that you even folded back, but you can only get the flesh up to here, and I've done it, and honestly this gets a better turnout. And so we'll want to open it up a little though, so it's got a little shadow effect. Now we pull the labia back out. Just like so. Same folds we made earlier. Nothing new. Just a lot of annoying parts flying everywhere. So you've got this thing. And we're going to lock it down so that it's a nice tight little vulva. Nice tight little origami. Tightness is overrated in general. There's other places where that's readily available if that's really the focus. And oh yeah, I should be telling you what I'm doing. Sorry. Get me thinking about these things and stop paying attention. So we're going to fold these tips behind in order to lock it down. And what I like to describe it as is you're not pulling it like this. You're like like swinging it, you want to pull it straight over, because that forces those intermediary papers open, and you want to hold it there. And once you've got that opening, then bolt it down and fold that around. See there? We're going to create some tension in here and just let these folds give a layeredness to it that is appropriate. And we're going to do that on the other side now too. Just this tip. And hold it and go straight out, opening up those. And then turn it sharp. This is one of the most frustrating parts of it. Getting the balance there, but also getting the openness to remain. Because now, so we've got on the other side here, it's just like, well, I'm holding on for dear life. And we're going to help it out a little by just holding this down and pressing it hard there. Give it a good pinch. And often this will work. The trick with these is really getting them to point straight across so that they can be gripped in a more 90-degree fashion by this one, and so they don't hang out under it. So you really want to, the turn you take when you flip them around, you really want to like churn it. None of this crap. Like keep it up, and then it'll hold itself. Then we're going to do the same thing down here. And look, this is going to be frustrating, and to be honest, I think unless you get these perfect, you do need a little piece of tape or a patch of glue or something like that. You could do like the husband stitch to it or something. I've heard that works with origami. Wah, wah. That's a bad joke, but it's a good joke, man. So, again, the pulling open, this is a time where you'll see the advantage of having these done perfectly right, which would bring them in terminating here, would mean I have less width for this to deal with. But actually, it might come out kind of cute. Those are all sort of parameters you can, I'm pulling straight over, opening it up, and then cutting it across. The width of this and the place these go and how wide you make the labia, it's all, of course, appropriate for interpretation. Opening it up, and then giving it a little room straight behind. I'm always worse on the left one for some reason. See, it's tilted down a little bit. It's going under. Tilt it up so I get that nice straight line that this thing can fold over. Let's give it a shot. Oh, I'm not sure that'll work. It's close. There we go. So we did, the same thing. Just folded them all on each other and hoped it stayed. I don't know if that's what the good Lord Jesus Christ was thinking. But that's the best I can do. So then we can open it up a little, and this is where really maybe the most ham-fistedness of this is how these connect. If it's not perfect, it just can be a frustrating thing to deal with giving the rest of it definition. So I like to hold it on both sides while I sort of probe that out and open it up. And then the last thing, which is going to knock these out, don't worry about that, it's just going to happen, is we have these little things here, these lapels, my girlfriend at the time called them, and she had a good solution, and that's that we're going to fold them back in such a way that they are hidden and they also grip the paper behind. So just the white lapels we're folding back. And we're gripping that first layer of paper, but we're not going across the whole model. Just right there. And that also brings these points together with a little more curvature. And but it, more importantly, it hides that whiteness. You know, if I had planned ahead, I might have just made these big enough so they'd cover even that, but we'll get that opened up a little. So let's hide this other lapel. 3 choices, just one. And as you fold it over, you can see you'll be intersecting 2 planes right here of paper. And that's what gives it this little dimple that I like. Right across there. Because as you do that, you're forcing that effect. And for some reason, that just looks much better to me. Unreasonably better. Oh, this one ain't bad. I think making it on the camera is pretty hard. You know, people do this. There we go. And hey, only one of those fell out. I'm just gonna tuck it back in. Pinch it down again. Sometimes I just bite that. Yeah. That mashes it down good. And then it's good also if you're noticing dents. It's not, if you want to blow in it. That's a good way to do it. To just handle that. And then, you know, this is more of a model, like you can work into the particulars of what you want, but it does do the job. Thanks for watching. Jesus Christ, that took 30 minutes. Well, I talked a lot, but I wanted to make sure it was something you could see all the details of. So there we go. Oops. Oh, come here.